Well, it looks like Nike, they ain't playing no games. First, they went for StockX, then they sued the bootleggers. And as far as this latest lawsuit, these details get pretty interesting, which we got this report right here, courtesy of Sneaker Legal. You guys see the details right here. Nike USA Inc. versus Chen, diversity breach of contract. 126 million, which that number actually turned out to be an error. It's actually more closely something like $126,000, but that's still a decent little chunk of change. And when you refer to Chen, that actually happens to be Edison Chen. You guys know him from the brand Clot, based out of Hong Kong. One of Nike's premier collaborators throughout the years. Now, when you talk about his collaborations, while I gotta be real with you guys, I'm not too hip. I wasn't really on the hype train, you know, as far as what they were doing over there, but he had some pretty decent stuff. Some Jordan brand collaborations as well, which I do remember these 14s right here. Interesting choice of material. Looks like we had a pair of Clot Air Jordan 5 lows, some ones, some other stuff like that. But when you talk about the Nike collaborations, I think what made the most noise would probably be these Dunks. The Air Force Ones, them joints were definitely cool, but I think as the most noteworthy one, that was probably the Air Max 1, which I think actually dropped back in like 2006, something like that. He's been with Nike for a long time, but something interesting also happened, because when we talk about this lawsuit right here, a lot of theories were coming about, like why would Nike be suing Clot, Edison Chen, for over $100,000? If you recall, the final release, which we saw in 2023, these What the Dunks, there was a little interesting storyline happening behind the scenes when you talk about this release right here, because there was a high profile reseller at the time. You know, he was flexing these images all over social media. He had like full size runs of this unreleased pair, which is kind of crazy. He then shared screenshots to which Edison Chen actually reached out to him talking about, I wasn't trying to blow up your spot. I just can't understand what is going on. That number is the person who sold you the shoes? Nah, talking about that was his number. To which Edison Chen was like, all right, let me give you a call, in which the whole thing ended by Edison Chen actually rewarding this reseller who had a whole bunch of pairs of his unreleased sneaker in hand available to flip to people with a friends and family pair. So he rewarded that reseller who backdoored a whole bunch of his sneakers with a friends and family pair. That was like the first red flag that kind of made sneakerheads upset. Like, how are you gonna reward the person that we're all fighting against? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of strange. Then shortly after this sneaker was announced, we then heard the word that Edison Chen was actually taking his talents over to Adidas, which is kind of crazy, because we had the What the Dunks dropping in 2023, and then immediately afterwards we had an Edison Chen Clot Adidas collaboration. Now, whether you're a fan of what he's doing over there with Adidas or not, I would have to say stuff is pretty interesting, and he's had a pretty decent amount of output just in the short amount of time over there with Adidas so far. So what could this whole contract, breach of contract be about? The details of this lawsuit, because again, Nike suing Edison Chen for over 100,000 bands. Like, what could this be all about? Which, as far as the latest update, again, according to Sneaker Legal, they're saying payment for the allegedly undisputed invoices from Nike products owed, totaling $126,615. Can't forget about the 68 cents, not the 160 million. Remember, that was a typo. But they're gonna be including costs, expenses, attorney's fees, and collection agency fees. So it seems like, I guess, towards the end of the fiscal year, once Nike was doing their audits, you know, of all of their invoices owed, they found out that Clot, actually, which owns a retail store called Juice, I guess, which is based out of Los Angeles. So this is their little boutique resale store, which would be just like something like, say, like Kith, you know, any of your normal sneaker retail stores, which they sell their products, you know, along with other collaborations through different brands, such and such, blah, blah, blah. So according to Nike, they were owed like over $100,000. Again, you got to add like legal fees and everything like that. But it seems like Juice, the store, owed Nike a little pretty chunk of change. And I guess there was some type of agreement to pay back, to which they have failed to do so. And the next step, Nike taking them boys to court for that 100,000. Now, on top of this lawsuit, another one has also just popped up, as it looks like Nike is suing another company called Laced, which again is going to be the same complaint. Nike is demanding $117,901.86. So same deal, just like this juice store, they owe Nike some money. And when you take a look at their Instagram account, Laced essentially again is one of these sneaker retailer boutiques, which they're saying boutiques worldwide. Click the link for all locations. So looks like they just opened a store at the North Shore Mall, wherever the hell that is. That's cool. Wellington, Florida. So these are pretty much one of these like retailers where you walk into a mall, you might run into a Lace location. I'm unfamiliar with them, but let me know if any of you guys are familiar with the store and like how they get down and everything like that. It looks like they also resell products as well. And what the hell is going on right here? Like, is this the owner or something? Like, bruh, what is this all about right here? So as far as Lace, seems like just like Juice, they're down bad right now. And I feel like this Nike lawsuit more so just kind of exposes the fact that when you talk about these sneaker resale businesses, whether it's retail, whether they're selling resale products, it's just hard keeping afloat here in 2025. It's just a sign of the times right now. I think a lot of these businesses, maybe came to light back in better days when, the market was up. There was a lot more products. So it's really hard to tell who to blame. Like, is it Nike for lack of product? Are they just like only reserving like the real hot stuff for certain places and just giving the trash products to certain locations? But when we talk about Juice and this spot Lace, y'all boys are down $100K a piece, and you better pay up because Nike's attorneys, they don't play no games. So I feel like this kind of just exposes the industry. We've talked about a lot of these sneaker boutique shops shutting down, a lot of these resale stores closing down across the country, a lot of funny shenanigans happening behind the scenes. But I ain't gonna lie, man, like when we talk about backdooring and all that stuff, maybe Laced, maybe Juice, they weren't doing enough backdooring, and maybe they need to take a page out of the playbook from some of these other locations. Remember the word about Ama Manier allegedly backdooring a whole bunch of inventory over to like, what was it, overseas or something like that? Maybe they need to do a little some of that to like stay afloat, because it looks like James Whitner, all them boys, Whitaker, whatever, they're doing straight, and these places, they're in hot water. Edison, Chen, man, pay up that 100,000. I'm sure Adidas got 100,000 laying around, for you to throw at Nike for these little losses right here. So let me know what you guys think about this. And when we talk about this lawsuit, in my opinion, it really just exposes the fact that the sneaker industry, a lot of these businesses, they're just like probably going month by month to just keep the lights on, and it's really not as sweet as we all think. So how do you guys think things could turn around? Do you feel like Nike maybe should do a better job as far as their retail partnerships? Maybe they should give some of these places exclusive releases to bring the hype. I mean, we just saw what happened with Undefeated with the release of the OG Classic Grail Undefeated 4s. I'm sure that probably pumped a whole bunch of revenue into Undefeated's pocket. So maybe Nike needs to work with some of their smaller partners to help settle some of these differences, because this is looking a little bit crazy. Drop your feedback down below. JATV, if you guys enjoyed the update, smash the like button. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out, y'all. Love.